Hi, this is Art Lieberman, and I am the blogger, writer for stressreliefforteachers.net, and I also podcast at the One Teaching Tip podcast. And today I'm teaching a memory device. This is the second memory device. The first one was where I talked about how to memorize the calendar in a year. And this one's called the Body List, and I learned this from Kevin Trudeau's book on memory. And I've always been a fan of memory techniques. I read the Harry Lorraine's The Memory Book, and I also like his book even more called Page a Minute Memory. And this right here is based on his I don't even think Harry Lorraine originally created this, but it's based on a way to take numbers and turn them into words, and so that you can memorize them as concrete images. Okay, and this is a very basic starting point, which if you can understand it, we will build upon. And I've used this particular list for years. And for instance, if I am driving in town and I get a call from my wife and she says, hey, I need you to pick up some groceries, she can just tell me all the groceries. And with this list, I can memorize 10 of them, and I do not forget them. And when I put them in the cart, then I take them off the list, and it's all mental. And that's the power of this list, and that's just the beginning. But if you can learn this, then you can learn the very powerful stuff. So let's go ahead and get into this. This is the body list, and I will explain how to use it. So it starts with number 1, toe. And think of a toe being in there. And just remember that number 1 is toe. Okay. Now get back to explaining why we're learning this. And when I teach it with people, I always have them touch their toe. So if you're with me, just touch your toe and say number 1 is toe. Okay. And then number 2 is knee. And why the knee? Well, we'll get into that later too. It'll actually take a few lessons to fully explain it all. But let me just do a quick explaining of the list so that you can just sort of memorize the list. Now, this is the first kind of strange one. Number 3 is meat, otherwise known as the thigh. But in the body list, we call it meat. And after a couple lessons, I can explain to you why. But I'm not going to explain that today. That's the more advanced stuff, okay? And there's a reason why. But just stick with me here for a minute. And then we have rear. So think about this guy on the back side of him, really is where his rear is. It's not really showing. Then we have love handles, okay? That's his waist. And then now we're looking at number 8, his shoulder, okay? And number 7 is the collar, or you could think of the collarbone if you want. And then number 8 is face. Number 9 is the top of his head, but in the body list we call that the point. Some people in the body list will call this the beanie or the bean. And since I learned it as point, I'm sticking with point, but I can understand why there might be reasons to call it bean. But let's work with point right now. And then you point up to the ceiling, or you can use the word sky. Either one works for what we're doing. All right, now let's go back and figure out. You notice I had to turn that blue because the black wasn't showing up, and I wanted it right on the collar. Okay, for number 7, back to toe. So number 1 is toe. Okay, so and then as we're memorizing this, I will just quiz a person until I get it all. And it's not that hard. When you touch the different body parts as you go, it's really easy to remember. So let close your eyes for a second and see if you can remember it. So what's number 5? That's right, love handles. And number 2, knee. So shoulder is what number? Ooh, it's number 6. Okay. And face is what number? Number 8. And 7 is what number? Collar. And toe is what number? Number 1. And number 10 is what? That's ceiling, or if you're outside, you could say sky. Either one works. And then if we're talking about the top of your head, we're going to call it your point. And, okay, number 2 is knee. And the rear is what number? 4. Okay, this is how you have to remember it. Okay, you still with me? Okay, all of you who are still with me, good. You're ready to keep going and learn more. All right. So here's how we use it as a memory device. So my wife says to me, and I'm just going to make this up as I go now. I'm not looking at a list or anything. You'll just have to trust me on that. So number one, pick up some orange juice. And so what I imagine as quickly as possible in my brain is a silly connection or a link between the word orange juice and my toe. And I usually just imagine it sort of pouring all sticky and gross on my toe. The sillier and the weirder, the better. Okay. And then she says, I need some eggs. Well, that's number two is knee. And so now I'm thinking, okay, what can I do? How can I put the word knee and eggs together? Well, maybe I'm walking around and holding an egg between my knees and not letting it drop. Okay, if I drop, then we won't have any breakfast. Okay, maybe it's 2 or 3 eggs. Because we don't usually buy 1 egg, do we? Hey, let's put a carton between the knees. Okay, carton of eggs. So whatever, just make it real silly and crazy, and then break some. Just think of that mess on your knees, right? And then she says, I also need some sugar. And so now I just, imagine on the thigh, which we call meat. We call meat in the body list. On the thigh, just take that sugar and just pour it down your pants. Just on the thigh, so it's on the thigh. All right, you with me here? I told you weird and crazy and kind of nutty. So and it kind of sticks there. You do something to make it really stick. Add some water to it. Just kind of stick it on your thigh right there. And all right, now number four. My children tell me they don't ever forget number 4. They always remember number 4. It's never a problem. So let's say number 4 is get some milk. I'll let you make the association between your rear and the milk. Okay, I'm just not going to even explain that one because I know you can do it. And in fact, if you can't do that, you just turn off the video now. There's no hope for you. Okay, just go on and do something else. Okay, so silly association between your rear and the milk. Okay, number 5 then, let's say she said, give me some flour. I need some whole wheat flour. And so, you can imagine you're trying to steal the flour from the store and you pack it under your shirt around your waist and you try to sneak out of the store. Okay, now I'm not advocating this. I'm saying it's such an uncomfortable and silly image that you're going to remember it. Okay? All right. Now, and then she also says, let's go ahead and get I can't think now. She says, let's get some Snicker bars, which my wife would never do. She would never say get Snicker bars. So Snicker bars. So you staple them to your shoulder. You got that? Okay. Staple them to your shoulder. All right. She says number 7, we're out of coffee, and she wants some of those K-cup coffees, and you're just gonna take them and you're gonna stick them in right around your collar where it's really uncomfortable. Okay. And then I'm probably going so fast. I wonder if I'm even going to remember these. And I do this all the time, but hopefully I'll be all right. We'll see in a second. Okay. So number 8 is face. And so let's say she says, hey, let's keep this simple. I need some push pins. Okay. So you're sticking the push pins into your face. Not really, by the way, for you weirdos out there, not really sticking them in your face. Just imagining sticking them in your face. You got this? Okay, you with me? Okay, good. Okay. And then number 9, she says, okay, I also need some toenail clippers. And so you imagine the top of your head and you're cutting the hair with the toenail clippers. Yeah. Okay. And somebody comes along and sees you doing it and just thinks you're really stupid. Okay. You see that comfortable image there? Okay. And then number 10, let's say, I need some lettuce. So you just kind of look up in the sky or on the ceiling and you think, let's go ceiling, okay? Because you're probably in, I don't know if you're indoors or not. You could be watching this on your phone. But imagine some ceiling, some lettuce just hanging from the ceiling where the lights are supposed to be. Okay? All right. So let's see if I actually remember. So number 1 is orange juice. Number 2 is eggs. Number 3 is sugar. Number 4 is milk. Number 5 is flour. Number 6 is Snicker bars. Number 7 is that K-cup kind of coffee. Number 8 is push pins. Number 9 is okay. Number 10 is lettuce. Back to number 9 is the clippers, toenail clippers. Okay, so now we can also easily go forward and backwards with this. You know, you can go forward through the list, backward through the list. So, and I promise I'm not looking. I'm not looking at this list that I just made up. Okay, so I just did it off the top of my head. Now, the ceiling. Then, so number 10 is lettuce. Number 9 is the clippers. Number 8 is the push pins. Number 7, oops, I almost went down to 6. It's okay. It doesn't matter really. We can go to number 6 is Snickers, and number 7 is the K-cups. And I'm having a little bit of trouble with that one. I need to make it sillier, so I'm just going to smash them into my collar area. Okay. And number 8 is the flour, the whole wheat flour. And number 4 is the milk. Number 3 is the sugar. Number 2 is the eggs. And number 1 is the orange juice. Okay, that's how you do the body list. Okay, now if you will remember that, okay, later when I decide to make another recording, which hopefully will be relatively soon, I'm going to tell you how to take this and turn it into something way more advanced. But you have to have this down. So memorize the body list and then practice 2 or 3 times with some different lists, and then try it for real. Like you know, when somebody asks you to memorize something, do it. Now, in my example, what I'm memorizing is concrete. These are concrete items, easily visualized. If you go to abstract things, it's harder, but there are still things that you can do to do that, which we'll get to in another lesson. Okay, so today we are talking about the body list, which I originally learned from Kevin Trudeau. I know Kevin Trudeau's kind of in trouble more recently, getting in jail and everything. But his list really works nicely, and it's done a lot of good for me over my life. So I think we're going to wrap it up. This is Art Lieberman, and I am with StressReliefForTeachers.net. And you can find my show. It's called The One Teaching Tip. It's on Stitcher and iTunes. And I hope you are having a great day. And we are out.